Why does everyone think surfing is the dream life? Endless beaches, sun-kissed mornings, the ocean at your doorstep. They imagine it's freedom, peace, and adrenaline all rolled into one. But here's the truth no one tells you. Surfing, it's brutal, it's isolating, and for many, it's one of the most punishing sports on earth. Think about it. Every other sport, basketball, football, tennis, you've got a court, a stadium, a defined space. You've got crowds cheering, lights shining, teammates beside you. Surfing, you've got an ocean, a living, breathing monster that doesn't care about your dreams. One day it lifts you up, the next it drowns you. And here's the part most people don't realize. Surfers are some of the most disrespected athletes in the sports world. They train their bodies to the brink. They condition their lungs to hold breath in ways that feel superhuman. Yet when the waves collapse, when the competitions get canceled, when they wipe out in front of millions, the world laughs. They get memed. They go viral for all the wrong reasons. Surfing looks like paradise. But behind the highlight reels is a story of sports burnout, mental exhaustion, and athletes push past their breaking point. It's only getting worse in 2025, as AI-driven surf forecasting and constant social media exposure are making the pressure to perform higher than ever. If you are a surfer or if you've ever been obsessed with a sport that consumes your life, you know the reality. Waking up before dawn, chasing swells like your entire existence depends on it. Fighting for recognition in a sport where sponsors care more about your Instagram following than your actual talent. That's the ugly truth of surfing. Now let's get real. People think surfers have it easy. They see bronze skin, hair bleached by salt water, a smile that looks effortless, but they don't see the hours of training when the cameras are off. They don't see the injuries, the dislocated shoulders, torn ligaments, and concussions. They don't see the nights filled with anxiety about missing a single competition. Because missing one might mean losing your only paycheck of the year. Professional surfers don't get paid like basketball stars. Most of them are scraping by, some live in vans, chasing waves, sponsored just enough to cover gas money. Others gamble everything for a shot at the World Surf League, knowing full well that one bad season, one missed wave can erase them from the rankings forever. And then there's the mental side, the pressure of performance, the fear of irrelevance. Imagine standing on your board, staring at a wall of water higher than a 3-story building, while drones film every second, live streamed worldwide. One slip, one wipeout, and it's not just your body on the line, it's your career, your reputation, your future. And millions of people online are ready to turn your failure into a TikTok sound. That's what it really means to be a surfer today. It's not about finding yourself in the waves, it's about surviving them. Let's talk about social media. In 2025, surfing has become one of the most viral sports in short-form content. A perfect wave can rack up 20 million views overnight. But here's the catch, so can a brutal wipeout. And for many surfers, their brand value isn't based on wins or stats. It's based on how entertaining their failures look online. That's the twisted economy of modern sports. It's the mental health revolution in pro sports playing out in the water. Surfers battle not just the ocean, but the weight of an audience that never turns off. Comments rolling in. Why didn't you commit? You should have gone left. You're washed. Imagine working your whole life, dedicating your every breath, and still being told by strangers that you're not good enough by people who have never even paddled out once in their lives. But the pressure doesn't stop there. Surfing is one of the few sports where nature itself decides if you even get to compete. Imagine training for months, building your body into peak condition, traveling halfway around the world, only to arrive at a beach where the waves never show up. Competition canceled, no points, no paycheck, just disappointment. Try explaining that to your landlord when rent is due. Surfers aren't just athletes, they're gamblers. Every swell is a bet, every trip is a risk. And when the ocean doesn't cooperate, it feels like the universe itself is laughing in your face. But let's go deeper. The physical toll of surfing is insane. Think about duck diving under wave after wave, your lungs screaming for air, salt water burning your throat. Think about paddling for hours against currents that want nothing more than to drag you backward. Most surfers burn more calories in one session than a marathon runner. Yet no one talks about surfing as a test of endurance. They just see the final shot, the ride, the smile, the perfect moment. But behind that moment are countless failures. Surfers spend 90% of their time waiting, paddling, falling. The ride, that's maybe 10 seconds long. 10 seconds to prove yourself. 10 seconds to justify a lifetime of work. 10 seconds to silence the doubt that eats at you every night. And here's the part that cuts the deepest. The culture itself doesn't forgive weakness. Surfers are supposed to be chill, laid back, unbothered. But that's a mask. Beneath it is fear, anxiety, and an obsession. You can't admit you're struggling because the community worships only those who look effortless. It's toxic positivity at its peak. Now, let's add climate change into the mix. Rising ocean temperatures, shifting currents, unpredictable storms, they're not just environmental issues, they're career killers. Surfers depend on consistency, on the rhythm of the seas. But now, seasons are unpredictable. The waves don't come when they're supposed to. And for an athlete whose entire livelihood depends on timing, it's a slow death sentence. But here's the contradiction that makes surfing so addictive. For all the pain, the exhaustion, the disrespect, surfers keep coming back. Why? Because when it works, when the ocean finally gives you that perfect wave, it's like touching infinity. For those few seconds, nothing else exists. No bills, no critics, no burnout, just you. You're bored. And nature in its rawest form. And that's the curse of surfing. The pain makes the reward even sweeter. And the reward is so intoxicating you'll endure the pain 1,000 times over. So why does it really suck to be a surfer? Because you give everything your body, your mind, your sanity to a sport that gives nothing back except fleeting moments of glory. And if you're not careful, those moments consume you. That's the side of surfing you never see on Instagram. That's the hidden story behind the postcard. Lifestyle, and it's a story we're telling today. And here's the part most people never understand. Surfing isn't just about balance, timing, or even courage. It's about risk on levels that few sports ever match. You're not competing in an arena with padded walls or safety nets. You're riding on something alive, unpredictable, and often merciless. The ocean. One mistake in basketball, a turnover. One mistake in tennis, you lose a point. One mistake in surfing, you could lose consciousness under a wave that weighs as much as a building. You could be pinned underwater for 2 minutes, fighting for your life, while no one even notices. That's the brutal truth hidden under the highlight reels. But the danger doesn't end when the wave breaks. Surfers live in a body that constantly betrays them. Years of paddling wreck their shoulders. Ankles twist, knees grind down from sudden torque. There's a reason many pro surfers in their 30s move, like retired football players, and yet, when they walk off the beach, people only see a tan, a smile, and salt water in their hair. Nobody sees the Advil. Nobody sees the rehab appointments. Nobody sees the ice baths that feel like punishment. And here's another thing that really sucks about being a surfer in 2025. The camera is always on. Drones buzz overhead at contests. Fans film everything for TikTok. A wipeout that leaves you bruised and shaken isn't private anymore. It's a clip that can go viral, set to music, with strangers laughing in the comments. And while social media can make stars, it also makes targets. Imagine breaking your board on a set wave and then opening Instagram later that night. To see yourself as a meme with millions of views, that's not glory. That's humiliation permanent. Digital, unshakable. But the psychological battle goes even deeper. Think about this. Surfing is one of the only sports where your biggest rival isn't another athlete, it's nature itself. The ocean doesn't care who you are, how much you trained, or what sponsorship patch is on your wetsuit. The ocean doesn't care about your mental health. It will throw storms, rip currents, jellyfish, and sharks at you. And when you're out there, alone in the lineup, staring at the horizon, the truth hits, you are just a small human waiting to be tested by forces way bigger than you. And real surfers don't admit it often, but that waiting, that constant state of anticipation is exhausting. They call it ocean anxiety. You sit there, heartbeat racing, knowing the next set could be the ride of your life or the wipeout that ruins your season. That kind of stress doesn't leave when you paddle in. It follows you home. It sits with you at dinner. It keeps you awake at night. Yet despite all of this, surfers rarely get the same respect that other athletes do. Sponsors demand smiles, sun-soaked Instagram reels, and lifestyle vibes. The pressure isn't just to perform on the water, it's to perform happiness off the water. To always look like the ocean is your best friend, even when it nearly killed you that morning. That's not fair. That's not sustainable. And it's breaking people down. Now, let's talk about burnout, the silent storm nobody sees coming. Burnout in surfing doesn't look like slamming your racket or throwing your helmet. It looks like quietly not showing up to the beach. It looks like pretending you've got a stomach bug when really you can face another set of expectations. It looks like staring at your board, a board you once loved, and feeling nothing in 2025. This conversation is finally cracking open in pro sports. Mental health and athletes is no longer taboo. Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, Michael Phelps, they've all spoken about it, and surfers are right there in that same struggle, even if they hide it behind sandy smiles and wetsuits. Here's the paradox. Surfers dedicate their lives to chasing waves, but the sport itself often leaves them feeling drowned by pressure, by pain, by scrutiny. The lifestyle that looks so free, so unshackled, can actually become a cage, and yet this is where the story takes a turn. Ask any surfer if they trade it all, and most will say no, because for every brutal wipeout, there's a moment that makes it all worth it. A moment where you drop in perfectly, carve across glassy water, and feel like you've merged with the ocean itself. For those few seconds, the pain fades, the noise disappears, it's just you, weightless, timeless, alive. But is that enough? Is that fleeting feeling worth the cost? That's the haunting question at the core of this sport. So, why does it really suck to be a surfer? Because you give everything, your body, your mind, you're safe to form moments most people will never truly understand. Because you're judged by the world for how you look riding a wave, not for the silent wars you fight to even get there. Because every single time you paddle out, you gamble against injury, against humiliation, against nature itself. And still, you return over and over. Because the ocean doesn't just take. It also gives. It gives identity, community, transcendence. It gives that rare, unmatched joy that only surfers know. And maybe that's why it sucks. Because the highs are so high, they trap you. They keep you coming back, no matter how much it hurts. Behind the slow motion edits, behind the brand deals, behind the sun-kissed photos. This is the truth about surfing. It is one of the most beautiful, brutal, misunderstood sports in the world, and the surfers, the ones who risk it all, deserve to be seen not as carefree rebels, but as warriors. Warriors who battle waves, burn out, and themselves every single day. So, next time you see a surfer smiling in a magazine or carving across your feed, remember this: behind that smile might be a shoulder hanging by threads. Behind that wave might be a panic attack in the lineup. Behind that viral moment might be months of pain no one clapped for. Surfing looks effortless, but behind the curtain, it's anything but. If you've ever felt the ocean pull you under, if you've ever chased a dream that hurt as much as it healed, then maybe you understand. Maybe now you see why. Really, it sucks to be a surfer. And here's where I'll leave you. Smash that like button if you've ever rooted for the underdog. Drop your favorite athlete's name in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe because tomorrow, we've got another story from the world of sports that'll change the way you see the game.